The Disney DAS system has been an absolute nightmare since its initial rollout, and Disney fans everywhere are starting to push back on it. Well, not starting. They've been doing it for quite a while, and now Disney will allow shareholders to vote on a review of the controversial disability access service changes. Let's talk about it today on That Park Place. Okay, this comes to us from Blog Mickey, and this is about the controversial Disney disability access service. Now, Disney recently filed a statement via proxy legal counsel Wilmer Hale, informing investors that they have reversed course on plans to block a shareholder proposal seeking oversight of the controversial changes to the DAS program. Critically, the letter reads, the company has determined to include the proposal in its proxy materials and therefore withdraws the no action request. Here is the letter in full. It says, ladies and gentlemen, we are writing on behalf of our client, the Walt Disney Company, with regard to our letter dated November 4th concerning shareholder proposal and supporting statement, blah, 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 legalese. The company is determined to include the proposal in its proxy materials and therefore withdraws the no action request. If the staff has any questions with respect to foregoing, please do not hesitate to contact me at email redacted or phone number redacted. Best regards, Lillian Brown. With this news out of the way, we're going to, Blog Mickey provide some context. There was a November 2025 letter sent from Wilmer Hale to the Securities and Exchange Commission. The letter was sent to the SEC to inform them that Disney intended to exclude a shareholder proposal that was seeking a third-party review of the DAS changes for the Disney theme parks. In the letter, Disney said the proposal requested that the company commission an independent review of its accessibility and disability inclusion practices and provide a public summary and internal briefing on the findings. Disney said the proposal was materially false and misleading and that it planned on excluding the proposal from the 2026 annual meeting of shareholders. Effectively, Disney was seeking a concurrence from the SEC and wanted to ensure that it would not be penalized for excluding the shareholder proposal. Now, this type of letter asking the SEC if a company would be justified in excluding shareholder proposals was very common for many years. However, a late November policy update has put Disney and all publicly traded companies in uncharted territory. Basically, the SEC said that it would no longer be providing substantive responses or express views on most no-action requests for shareholder proposal exclusions, with limited exceptions. Now, the change in policy has sort of forced Disney's hand in a way without the backing of the SEC to exclude a shareholder proposal. Disney and any company can't lean on that SEC concurrence as a crutch when removing proposals. It's an interesting spot to be in. Basically, without SEC backing, Disney would be forced to provide a rationale for the exclusion of any shareholder proposal. So it looks like Disney is not including this because it wants to. It's including this because it has to, Vash.
It would appear so. I think the SEC just said, hey, look, it's basically your deal now. We're going to just not look at... We're just not going to examine these proposals, and we're not going to concur with you or even... prevent you from not including this as a shareholder proposal. We're just going to leave it up to you. And it's kind of weird because I understand the framing that's going along with this from Blog Mickey. I kind of get that. Yeah, they were looking for a concurrence to kind of, use that as a reason to exclude it, but they also did seek that concurrence out. So kind of everybody kind of knows the game and what's going on right there. The idea that they would include this as a proposal sounds promising. It's like, oh yes, we're finally going to get this. But here's the thing, folks. I mean, Disney for years and years and years have hardly taken up any shareholder proposals. In fact, they always provide the guidance to their investors that they should vote no on pretty much everything that comes out, no matter what it is, even if it's something that the company might agree with, depending on what you've heard internally and so forth. So
precedent, I think the precedent.
I think so. Yes, exactly. So I just don't think
they have a voice. Which imagine that.
Right. Well, we can't. Well, come on now, Marvin. We don't want these distractions from our shareholders, I think is what the terminology used there from Bob Iger when talking about nuts and belts and so forth. Yeah, well, remember, with the proxy battle, he called the distraction over and over again right there. But it was a real thing, right? It's like, look, the company is not heading in the right direction. I'm looking to at least be on the board, at least to be, have a voice in the room that represents shareholders. And, well, that was a distraction. Can't have that. So these proposals, as some of them are very, very good. Some of them are very intelligently put together and nicely worded and so forth. And this one certainly is. I would love for an internal review by a third party to kind of investigate this and just kind of see what the problems are, how they could overcome them potentially, what they've actually done in the past, and all of that. But the likelihood that we're going to get that is just not very good, especially if you look at the history of proposals as brought up in these shareholder meetings before.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, MJ, I know this is a big topic for you. You're very passionate about the DAS program. Do you think Disney is actually going to listen and actually conduct a study like this, or do you think that they're just going to tell everyone to vote against it and then it never sees the light of day?
No, it'll get a vote. This has to be discussed. I'm really glad to hear that there's some kind of, progress in motion. It could not just stay stagnant the way it has been. It's wrong. And eventually they can be really like, the fire was already starting to light up underneath them because of the way they're handling things with the video calls and only limiting giving, DAS to someone with cognitive issues. But I really think this is important. I hope it goes in the right direction. I hope it not that we're like, okay, you can have high hopes, but let's just say it needs to be completely things need to be rectified. It's not okay to deny DAS for individuals. The last individuals that we've seen the last 24 to 36 months that have been denied should have never been denied. And they could really, they're just really, really, really rough. And this has to be looked over. And I'm glad that, people on the board are asking for this. So that's to answer your question.
I need to push back on this a little bit, not to dash your hopes here, MJ, but this is not going to do anything. They're going to vote against it. They're going to tell everyone to vote against it. Everyone will listen to them, and then it'll never see the light of day.
It's terrible.
There's no, I would say it's like a 98% chance that this does not move forward.
Correct.
Because people typically, I don't remember any instance where the shareholders have voted against a Disney recommendation.
And this is passing the buck, by the way, too. This is why they're putting it on as a proposal, because they know that they're going to get voted down as per the other investors and shareholders who vote on this proposal, and they can hide behind that cover, you see. If they were to outright exclude it, which, by the way, the SEC basically said, yeah, you can go ahead and run your proposals however you want. If they outright excluded it, they would be the ones that would face that that PR hit, right? Versus you put it in the hands of the shareholders, they make the vote. Oh, sorry, nothing we can do.
Yep, absolutely. Erica, Disney has no, there's no way Disney reverses course on DAS. I mean, do you agree with that? It seems like, do you think that there's any hope for people that are hoping to get this service back?
Not in the short term. There's a lot of variables. I think in order for Disney to even start to make changes, there has to be something really, and I mean really bad happen to where the PR is so grossly bad for them, even legally, that they're forced to have to actually not just review a change, actually review and make a change. And I have a feeling that day will come. We don't know when, but the way things are going now, they're the clock is ticking. It's just a matter of when, and how, who that poor family or person will be, but I don't think it's just not going to happen overnight.
I mean, I think what we saw, that situation just last week where they denied the 2-year-old heart transplant survivor. I thought that was going to blow up.
Yeah.
It didn't. It's already gone. No one remembers.
No, and I could tell too, because we were only hearing it in this little circle. It wasn't really going viral outside of this sphere.
Oh, and the only Pixie
like
outlet that actually talked about it was WWNT. Which I was shocked that they talked about it, but
I mean something big. Like I'm talking to the point where I'm talking like big Fed comes in,
right.
and or maybe even the state of Florida at the very least on a state level.
Well,
we're talking.
They are being actively sued in
that level.
a class action lawsuit about it, so maybe that might actually move them. If
and sad we don't hear enough about that, but then again, maybe sometimes keeping those things kind of private is to the benefit of those victims, because if things get too viral, things start to get really wonky on what's admissible and not admissible in court. So So there could be a good thing to keeping it private. I say just awareness, do your due diligence, vigilance, like we're taught in the military, know the environment you're walking into and make the right judgment call for your family and your situation. And unfortunately, if it means having to nix a Disney trip to go to Universal because they accommodate better, so be it. That's Disney's loss. Or if you have to have that Disney magic, there's the cruise line.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh
The
yeah, I
the
can't
cruise
wait
line
for that.
They do things well on the cruise line, I will say. Like the cruise line
I spoke to someone the other day planning our cruise for later this year, and they are just like, they are gonna like carry you. If you have a disability, people out there, oh my goodness, Disney Cruise Line loves you. They will pamper you in every which way and form you can think of.
Yes, because Disney Cruise Line does not have a system that upcharges you for premier access.
Very true.
It costs them nothing to help you. If it costs them anything, then they won't want to help.
Well, we're
It's
excited.
a different type of vacation.
Yeah.
Well, guys, time will only tell whether or not we're going to actually see real lasting change in the disability program, or whether all of our hopes will be dashed.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.